here is the key area for this discovery series that where we will be sharing details on a series of sessions on Microsoft 365 platform, specifically on the SharePoint side. And today I will be giving you an overview on Microsoft 365 and that creation of Dev Tenant and how what we have on that Dev Tenant. So I think you might know me already. My name is Adnan Amin, and I'm a Microsoft MVP for past almost 6 years now. And I having over 16 years of experience of working on Microsoft technologies, and I have been working on SharePoint since 2000. At the end of 2008, I have started working on SharePoint. Bit older than you guys, and you can see that my hair is getting white now, and I am using a bit older pic. So pardon me on that side. And I have a developer background, and as I studied as a developer back in 2005. So I have I would say that I still have a strong hands-on experience on Microsoft .NET and other areas. And I'm a Microsoft certified trainer also since 2009, and I think this would be my 14th year as a trainer. And you can reach out to me on my blog and on the SharePoint FB page or on LinkedIn also. And on the topic today, one thing before the start, I would really love Microsoft products and have seen that role design feature you might have seen on PowerPoints, which give you amazing ideas to just change the look and feel of the slide. And I just played with those options throughout my PPT. So today, I will give you an overview of Microsoft 365 first. That what is Microsoft 365 and what comes in this area, and then I will share the list of sessions which we will be sharing on Microsoft on this series of sessions on the Microsoft SharePoint stack, and then I will walk through that how to create a dev tenant. I believe that most of you already know about it or created that one, but if still you haven't done, you don't have a Microsoft Dev Tenant, then we will go through the steps which would be required for creating the Dev Tenant. And then I will walk through to Microsoft Admin Center, because what I have noticed in past that user have their user students who have created the Microsoft 365 Dev Tenant, but they don't have the clarity on that what they need to do in Admin Center. So I will walk through on that side also, and also on the SharePoint Admin panel, which we will be exploring on the next sessions. So what will be covered in this series that I will first today we will be discussing about Microsoft 365 and Dev Tenant. Then I will show you the information architecture design for a SharePoint site which would be required. What is the information architecture design? It is a structure like when we are building a home, a house, we need to design a structure for that house first. After that, on that structure, we start the building of that structure. So the similar design is required for any software application and also for a SharePoint site. So that we will understand that what is information architecture and what is its important and how we can execute that and can utilize that. And after that, we will walk through the site security management. The basic security will be covered in the next session, but there's a detailed security in detail that how we can secure a document or how we can secure a document within an organization so that no one else can access the document outside the organization. What happens that there are scenarios where employees leave the company and they have all the content. So how to show that and secure that content? So we will be looking to that one. And then I will show you that in SharePoint, we store data in the list form. Those are similar to Microsoft data tables. And we will use Power Automate. I will also walk through that how we can use Power Automate to create business processes on those lists of data. And on the next session, that would be a walkthrough session on that. We will create a Microsoft form and integrate it with the Power Automate and submit data to a SharePoint list and create a business process. which will be helpful for you if you are going to organize any event or create any process that would be a zero code to business process. And on the next session, I will be sharing a development roadmap, because if you are a developer, then it would be very helpful for you guys that what tools and technologies are available. You might already doing using those tools and have awareness of those technologies. So just so you need to change the APIs and just what are the steps required for building a SharePoint-based applications. And at the last, we will discuss that how building a team, a SharePoint and team-based application, and what is it required, and how we can deploy those. And we'll also discuss the SharePoint framework, which is by SPFX, and also the community-based framework from Pattern and Practices. Now, let's. What is the Microsoft 365? Earlier, Microsoft have launched Office 365. You might have heard about earlier it called as Office 365. Then there is a separate product, Microsoft Windows 10, Windows platform from the Windows platform, and then there are separate modules on the mobility and security. So Microsoft have combined them to one module as Microsoft 365, and there's another module which we are not going to cover, but that's Microsoft Azure, which itself is a big platform. So on Microsoft 365, we have all the Office applications, Power Platform, Business Platform, and these are available part of that Office suite, which are now under Microsoft 365, and also the Windows. So if your company is buying any licenses for Microsoft 365, like E3 licenses or E5 licenses, they will get the Windows license, Microsoft Office licenses, and OneDrive space on the cloud, and also similar on SharePoint, and also they will get access to Microsoft Teams for internal meetings. And from security perspective, they will get Intunes and many other areas for covering that. I don't have the expertise on that side, so I will not speak much on that side also. And I'm just sharing this one more screen to you guys, that Microsoft, along with that, auto the work components, these are from the developer sector. There's a Microsoft Graph APIs, which is built up on all those apps and applications, and on all the Microsoft technologies, and that can be used on any form of app, because either you are using you're an Android developer, or you can access those uh, tools using Microsoft Graph, or either is iOS. Earlier, it was only possible with the Windows-based applications only, or Windows Phone applications, but now it's available to all type of devices and applications using Microsoft Graph. And we will be discussing about it on our next session, that how Graph is working or how SPFX is working. So now let's jump into the Microsoft 365 Dev Tenant. Microsoft, like developer, Microsoft. Just entering that. Sorry for typos. I'm entering this address. Earlier at the start, Microsoft has this is the dashboard for the Microsoft developers, that they can get everything related to Microsoft technologies from this one, and you might already know about it. And at this start, this is the page for creating the Dev Tenant, but now you need to navigate from this page. And from this page, you can get all the trainings, all the samples, and everything, and free tools for accessing, starting working, getting started with the Microsoft technologies. So to explore this tool, and all the Microsoft events, especially from community, are also listed down here. So uh, do make it is one of your uh, favorite pages on your browser. So scroll down to this one, and you will see that. Let me check Microsoft Developer. Here you will see different tools and components here. Here I will go to the Microsoft 365, because I need to create the Dev Tenant. And if I come to this one, it will ask me to sign in here. And you need to have Microsoft 365, Microsoft Live account for this one, or Microsoft 365 account can also work. And you will sign in using that account here. Now you are on the developer tenant, and now you can go scroll down and create your own new dev environment here. You can see that join the Microsoft 365 developer program, and it will give you a free Microsoft 365 E5 uh, developer subscription. So you just click on join now, and it will start the process for you. And you need to set up a company name. That will be the name of your domain tenant, which would be required, like mssectalk.sharepoint.com, like this one. And now once you, and I hope that you will create that account. And this is one of the tasks for this session, because one of the scenarios, one of the requirement for this series of session is that I will be sharing some component with you on every week, and you will come up with those in next week, so that we can continue from there. So this would be that everyone should have that uh, dev tenant created from next week. And you can see that I just navigated to the from the developer tenant, and you can create the dev tenant. And it would be require a couple of steps. Earlier it can create the dev tenant in just 5 to 10 minutes, but now in past I have noticed that it's taking time for processing, creating all the services components on dev tenant. So I hope that you will create the tenant here. And once you are logged in, your account which you use to sign in here would be the admin account for dev tenant. But there is also a default tenant account, which would be the uh, admin of that tenant. Now I'm going to that admin tenant. So you just need to, you can log into that admin.microsoft.com directly, or you can just enter Office. You can enter this URL here, and you can sign in here using your account. It already is showing me sign in on this one. And this is one of my demo account, demo tenant, where which I use for most of the time for demoing different components. So now if once you are logged in here, you can click on this one, and you will see all these applications. Click on admin, and this will take you to the admin page here. So here's the admin center, and this is the home for the admin center. And one of the things is that once you create the users from the developer page, you will get another option to create the demo users. What is demo user? These are set of users with around 25 users who will be assigned different licenses and different roles within Microsoft 365 tenant, which would be helpful for you for doing different tasks when you are working actively on the sun, for building different components either on SharePoint, or on Teams, or on Microsoft streaming services, because you can see that there is a big set of applications which are available here. And if I click on all applications, it's showing me all the applications here. Now I'm on the admin page. I will just click on the sorry, I need to click on show all, and it will show me all the admin centers for the different applications. Like I want jump into SharePoint or security and compliance. This is one of the key area which I will be sharing later on one of the sessions. Compliance. That compliance allows that what would be the role of the users for accessing the content. Either it's in email or it's in documents. And if there's any guest user, like you guys joined externally, and there is also a guest user who is who need to sign in to your tenant, and what role that user will be have on the content on the site. So those are different in compliance and security centers. Now, if you go to at the top, you can see users here, and here you will see the complete list of users in your organization. Now, as you are going to create a demo tenant, a dev tenant, so and if you haven't added the users, you can manually add you create new users to the dev tenant, like this one. You can see these are different users are here, and if I click on any one of them, and one more thing, you can also because if you are all you are student or you are working in different teams in different companies, you can still use this dev tenant by multiple users can create one. You can use it as a team, and you can also use it for internal communications and internal development also. So here you can see different profile properties for the user and different roles and different groups which is part of. Like here, these are different roles. Now, role is very important for a user. Like I show you here for Adnan, manage roles, and here you can assign. These are different roles available. This is the role for the Microsoft Outlook, like for emails. That if user have that administrator role, then they can make changes to the admin center for the exchange. Now, global administrator is the top role. We also call it the holy admin, that who have everything, who have all the rights on that tenant, and he is a person who can assign or different roles to the users. Global reader, that they can go to navigate to any part on the tenant, but they only have the reading access. They can't make any changes. And help desk administrator, this is the similar for the help desk staff. See, service support administrator, this is also for the supporting the services side, and you can check for the more details from here. And this is the key role for the SharePoint Admin Center, and this is required for the SharePoint and also for the OneDrive. And even also, it is one of the required roles for Microsoft Teams administrator, because the all the content on Microsoft Teams is saved on SharePoint sites. And for the Teams administrator, right now we are on a Teams meeting, and we can make changes on the team as the admin, and those will be the default settings for all the teams which are created in the organization. And also the user management. This is required for managing all these users. If you don't have that, if only the SharePoint user administrator will have that access. This is a role which is not given to all the users. So now you can create the users here. You can also disable a user here from a delete, and do not normally I have seen this practice that the organization do not delete a user. They disable the users, and they have the compliance policies at the backend that how after DLP policies that after a specific time the user will be removed from the organization. So oh, and if you, for example, if you want to go to the OneDrive of a user, I'm just sharing the details that you can go to the OneDrive here and can write the URL of the OneDrive from here. Right now, I have, because this is a demo tenant and I haven't provisioned OneDrive for any of the users, so it's still pending here. And this can be provisioned using the PowerShell, which I will be sharing on later sessions, that how the PowerShell can be used for on the Microsoft 365 tenant. So just like the active users, we also have Microsoft 365 groups. They are basically three types of groups. One is called the Microsoft 365 groups, which could have where they have owners of the group and members of the group, and there is a SharePoint site associated with that group, and there is also a shared email for that group. So when that will be shown on your Outlook as a group email, where all the as a group you can see all the email communication on that one. Like if I show you one of the group here, and or this is a one type. The second type is a Microsoft team based group, that any group could also be become Microsoft. Whenever we create a Microsoft team, it create a SharePoint site and also a Microsoft 365 group at the backend. So if you haven't seen that before, then it would be helpful to understand that how things are working at the backend on the Microsoft 365. That so right now here you can see the team icon here, that this Microsoft 365 group has a team, and these do not have a team. And you can create the teams here from here also. And each group have a SharePoint site URL also. Let me check if it's listed here. And you can add members from here. And this can also be created, added to the PowerShell also. Or if you have any business process created on Microsoft Power Automate, then that can also be used. And here these are different roles for the group, which are available either as private or public. Public means that any user can see the group and can join it, but private group is for any specific set of users. Like here, these are the only users who have access to that group. They can whatever email is sent, they will get that email. And here you can see the group email also listed here, and the name you can see that the primary name is admin2. So there will be a SharePoint site at the backend with the same name, same URL. It will be having the URL, same URL for the site name. And these are, I told you right now the two types of groups. One is the Microsoft 365 groups, which have a SharePoint site. The other one is that which have the SharePoint site and Teams. And there's a third group, which is called the distribution list, which do not have a SharePoint site and that only used for shared mailboxes. Here you can see that these are the different uh, distribution groups. I don't have any, but this is the second type and third type of the group. I'm not sharing everything, all the details here, but I'm just sharing the key highlights for now, so that with time, when you start exploring, and you will start getting an understanding about how these things are working. And these are different roles which we just have discussed that what are the roles available. And you can also see the licenses here. On the billing, you will see the licenses available, and this will show you that your current subscription. And one important thing which I want to share, that at past Microsoft was giving 1 year of 1 year Dev Tenant access for the users, but now it only giving for 3 months. But that's renewable. If you are continuing, just like I'm using this tenant, if you are continuously using the tenant, it will now automatically renew for next 3 months. So if you don't use for 3 months, you don't log into for 3 months, then it will be on the subscription will be cancelled for you. And I'm using this demo tenant for almost 2 years now, for different giving sessions and doing different personal testing and building different applications. I'm using the same tenant. So it gives showing me the number of licenses I have on this tenant and requests. You can assign licenses to the users here by going to the user properties, and you can assign them different licenses on different tools. And this is one of the area which you can explore. You can play around when you get access to the environment. And now let me check if anything else which I can share from Admin Center for now. This is the health center that which will show you the current health, that what are the applications, how many being used, and if there's any incident coming up. And this is incident is the area whenever you might have heard that in past that Azure services are down, or Microsoft 365 is down. This is the area on Admin Center which will have all the details, and where Microsoft will be updating that now the service is stable or they are working on it. This is the area where you can reach to Microsoft 365, and you can also open tickets from here to the Microsoft support if you have any issues, uh, related issues. Now I will go to I will show you just, I'm clicking on here under the admin center. It will show me the admin center for the teams. I hope some of you have seen that before. So you can see all the teams and backend areas, and you can add users to teams here from here. Now I'm jumping to the SharePoint Admin Center. So by default, whenever we create a new tenant, this is the name which I was mentioning you, that the company name which you will create, this will be used here. And because Microsoft is also evolving with time, at the start the name of the platform was Office 365, and before that, back in 2010, the name of the Microsoft 365 was SharePoint Online. You would not believe that Microsoft 365 is developed based SharePoint is the mother of the Microsoft 365 platform. That's how the cloud computing on this side was started. That initially Microsoft was going with the on-premise first approach, and now Microsoft is working with the cloud first. And what is on-premise first or cloud first? That what happened that in past that Microsoft launched a SharePoint version like SharePoint 2010, and after that release, Microsoft launches the SharePoint Online on cloud, which was based on the 2010 version. And after 3 years, Microsoft has launched SharePoint Server 2013, and basis on, after that, Microsoft have launched SharePoint Online uh, based on the 2013 version. So this happened till 2016, and from 2016, Microsoft changed the approach to cloud first, and now Microsoft is continuously pushing changes on SharePoint Online, and whenever those changes get matured, they push the patches to the SharePoint on-premise versions. And I just mentioned the different version of SharePoint. Let me give a brief overview on those also. That there are different versions of SharePoint available, and but there are two main areas. One is on-premise, and the other is online. Online is the one which I'm showing you now. That would be a cloud-based version, and anyone can access it from anywhere. And it's based on the organization setting set up on that Dev Tenant, and all the management or is administrative work is managed by Microsoft. That how they are hosting it, or if there is any downtime, they will be managing it. If there is any updates, is pushed by Microsoft. But for the on-premise version, organizations have servers on within their premise. That's why those are called on-premise, where they have installed Windows Server machine, Windows servers, and on that Windows servers they install the prerequisites for SharePoint, and after those prerequisites, they install the servers, and the softwares are available just like Microsoft Office. So we configured those servers, and that was still in back in 2006, 7 till I would say 2019. That was still a job, and there are many millions of organizations in the world who are still using the same old way because they think that that older version is much safer. But for the key the organization which where data is the key, and their data is very sensitive. They need to expand a lot to manage the content because they need to create multi-server forms like 5 servers or 9 servers for SharePoint form, and a separate data recovery setup, so that if there is any damage, they can restore the data, and taking the backups after every a day or every 4 hours, so to make sure that everything is saved separately. But Microsoft Online helped them a lot, that your data is not going to loss, because I have seen the scenarios that data is not working or my data is lost, and we recover the data for the customers, because the data will stay in SharePoint for almost 90 days, 93 days in real. And after that, that can be restored after 14 days more. So technically, your data will be there for almost over 100 days. So now going back to the SharePoint Admin Center, here you can see all the sites here. There are different sites listed here. the default site which you will have is this one, that which will be with the name of your organization, which you have selected here. And you will see the basic properties here, the usernames and policies, yeah, all the details here. You can add the site owners from here. And if I go to the site here, you can see the site URL here, and you can you can see that the site here, and you might have seen that OneDrive account where you have documents solely on your OneDrive, which have this document library look and feel. OneDrive is also basically a SharePoint site collection, and it is store data on a document library, which is a default documents. So both are the same structure technically from the backend, and but from the usage perspective, those are two separate areas. So here you can see the documents and all the site content, and we will be discussing that on next session. But going back here, and you will see different sites here, different site templates here, and different roles properties listed down here for the active sites. And here are the some I would say that configurations which are required when we are setting up a tenant for an organization from the and these are settings which are required from the SharePoint side. You can see that the admin for the SharePoint having the administrative access for the both SharePoint and OneDrive, because the backend structure is same for the SharePoint and OneDrive. So that's why SharePoint admin role also required for the OneDrive. So here you can see that these are roles available that anyone, if content can be shared with anyone, that no login would be required. That if I'm sharing a document with you, you can access it directly. This one, second one option, that only whenever it's shared with external users, they need to log in first to the SharePoint Online or Microsoft 365, and their account will be added to the AD Connect, and from after that they can access the content. And this is for the existing guests, that if there are already guest user accounts, then they can use it. And if the organization is highly secure, then this option is selected. But these are the organization-wide settings. There could be requirement that only a few sites do not require external users. So we can also change the settings for those sites also from the SharePoint Admin Center. And here you can also limit the sharing to specific domains. Like I don't only want to allow Microsoft.com to people from Microsoft.com to join the meeting. Not everyone. So this is something which you can define here. And also if external link is shared, how many days it will be active, like for the 60 days or 10 days or 20 days. And you can also set up a code could be sent to the user, that code could be used to log into to access that document. So these are all the settings which are available on the admin center. And similarly, and these are few more settings for the sharing, that who the data will what is the sharing role within the organization. And if I go to the active sites here, one of the active sites here, you can also see the same settings at the site level. That you can share where you want to share and who will have the access. All the settings here. And just like access control is also similar, that how to manage the access for the devices, because there are requirement that if in the file, because whenever you are part of an organization, your system is also on that domain. So you want to allow files content to be accessed from the system joined domain machines, or or you can allow anyone can access the content. So that can be managed on here with for the SharePoint side perspective. And these are different settings which are required, which I will be sharing later on, that what type of components are required. If you want to allow development on the SharePoint side, you need to turn on and off things from on this screen from this setting. And there are a few other setting areas which could be boring for now if I'm going to explain, but those are all the things which are which could be defined from this section. And these are the reports. Let me check if it shows the usage reports. I think usage reports are only here on the home. That it will, because right now it's a demo site, not showing any data. If you are working with any organization, you will see all these charts with data with different graphical and details, that how many files have been used, how many documents have been used, and how actively users are using, and which site is being used most. All these details will be shared on this one. Right now you can see that I'm hardly using any content, so it's showing me that those graphs here. And these are all the out of the box features available. And let me check if I am going to cover any other thing from the session today. No, these are the areas which you need to explore, and I will be sharing more details about these sections in coming up sessions, where we will be performing different tasks, and we'll be exploring different features from this one, because this is a very detailed area. And I have been working for past couple of years and still learning new things within this window. So it's a big learning area and big opportunity for you guys also to join these sessions, all these sessions, and get the value from it. And uh, this could be used for your next job, because SharePoint market is still quite high, and from the jobs perspective. So I would highly recommend you guys to join these sessions. So now, if you have any queries, any questions, you can jump in. And the task for the this week would be that you need to create your Dev Tenant and start working and start exploring the Microsoft 365 Admin Center and also the SharePoint Online Admin Center. And if you get any queries, then just reach out to me on next session, or you can also ping me over Facebook or any other area.